over the last year, we've moved from having no apprentices in Wales within our creative sector to having over 50, and involving a huge number of employers in that as well. And that's a real tangible thing that you can't always say happens when you work in policy. I came into work into creative and cultural skills because I wanted to actually change the creative industries that I'd worked in, to actually make a difference. And apprentices actually showed that you can do that. You can actually change somebody's life, you can make something happen for them, and you can make it better for the creative industries as a whole as well, drawing in people from very diverse backgrounds. So I'm incredibly proud of what we've achieved with apprentices. So today, first and foremost, we're here to celebrate that. Secondly, I think we're here as well to try and explore what next. What follows these apprenticeships? What are the skills demands on the industry that we all work in or we all train in? This particular project was funded by Welsh Government and the European Social Fund. And it shows as well that government doesn't always have to be bureaucratic. Sometimes it can make good investments and change things as well. We're very good in Wales at being quite cynical about everything, and I think it's quite refreshing sometimes to say, this actually worked. We got the frameworks for apprenticeships, government put some of the money up, we got colleges to come on board and help deliver the training, and employers to take on the apprenticeships, and it worked.
Creative and Cultural Skills is the Sector Skills Council for craft, design, cultural heritage, performing arts, music, visual arts and literature. We are here to give the voice of our employers to government, but it's very interesting to find a way to do that when you have 70,000 small businesses, some big players, but across museums, galleries, small craftspeople, the music industry, the backstage industry, commercial and subsidised. There are no non-graduate entry routes into our sector, official ones that is. Although we talk about the creative sector, there are many other needs in the sector around just running a business and making it work. Management and leadership, which is an issue across most sectors, and careers advice, because many young people know about the jobs they see on stage, on screen, on the gallery walls, but they don't know about all those invisible jobs that sit behind. So there's a huge potential, and one of the reasons I'm particularly pleased to be here in Wales is because Simon and the team have been working really hard to develop the networks and the apprenticeship programme, and we are really keen to expand the model to create a family of educators, industry, further and higher education across design, music, jewellery, craft, performing arts, theatre, across the whole UK, because I think if you could imagine what the best creative industry sector in the world, along with the best higher education and the key partners from the best further education colleges could do together, it could be really remarkable.
I'd like to take this opportunity to briefly outline some of the Welsh Government's future plans and our exciting agenda for employability and skills in the coming years. Ministers have just announced our programme for government for the next 5 years, a very clear plan of action that we now have to deliver. No pressure. It's important to recognise that this isn't just an agenda for government, it's an agenda for Wales. We need all our partners to play their part. Simon's mentioned the benefits of working in partnership, and I think what we've heard about today brings that to life, if you like, because it's that partnership that has actually made this programme a success. We aim to increase apprenticeship opportunities for young people in Wales, with many successes to celebrate, and this is why one of the reasons I'm delighted to be at this event today. Welsh Government does, of course, put great store in apprenticeships and their value in apprentices and employers alike. Our policies are supporting new developments which aim to make apprenticeships more valuable and more accessible. We've developed new and groundbreaking approaches to meet both the needs of employers and the aspirations of apprentices. Programmes will continue to cover a broad range of skills and will be focused particularly on priority sectors that will directly benefit the key employers in Wales that can help take our economy forward.
It's great through my experience with the National Skills Academy to work with people that share that ambition. Work with educators that understand it's not just about cramming students into a course and then throwing them out at the end with no hope of engagement or employment. It's about bringing them together and working with employers and teaching them things that are going to be useful to them to get them employed. And that's what I want to see. I want to see creative and cultural skills lead from the front. We can punch well above our weight in this industry. The fact that we have got 900 apprentices from nothing, the fact that Wales has got 50 is brilliant. And I know the great work that Simon has done in the territories, in particular in Wales. So that's why I was more than delighted to be here today. But don't rest on our laurels. I know I'm a bigger employer. I want to make it work for the smallest employers.
I know you said that there'll be an announcement next week about the Jobs Growth Fund, but do you see that operate on a sector basis? And given the creative industries as a growth sector, a priority sector, whether a partnership approach there would be welcomed by Welsh Government with perhaps bodies like Creative and Cultural Skills as key stakeholders and even gatekeepers in managing that relationship.
What we're looking to do is to support employers, but support employers to create sustainable jobs. So, you know, in answer to your question, yes, we will certainly be keen to work at a sector level, but we won't restrict it to particular sectors. But clearly, where there are real opportunities for job growth and long-term sustainable employment, then that will be a focus for us.
You mentioned, Simon, Welsh Assembly Government support and funding. To what level does that funding go and extend? And from a UK-wide point of view, how much support is Downing Street given to these schemes across the UK?
The support really was through a fund which Teresa talked about called the Sector Priorities Fund. And what it actually did is it pumped money in to the tune of, I can't remember, it was around 450,000 over an 18-month period. And that really went to pay for training. There was a wage subsidy to subsidise the salaries of apprentices. And in one sense, Wales was one of the places where the model of apprenticeships actually worked properly, because the original model for apprenticeships is taken from Australia. And the idea is you have colleges, you have employers, and you have a wage subsidy involved in there as well. And that didn't happen everywhere across the rest of the UK. So one of the reasons I think we've been successful is because we did have that money to kick things off and develop supply and demand. Because I can't remember, as Pauline said earlier, there's no history. You know, I'm from the live events music sector. There is no history of apprenticeships. You know, you grab people, you bring them in, you try and get them to do stuff and hope they don't get electrocuted or killed. And that's how it used to work, and up until quite recently. So I think without the money, this wouldn't have happened. It was very important, but it was a Wales-only initiative.
I think Simon's absolutely right. The government imported an idea from Australia with only half of the funding. And so we have had to work really hard to get the funding in one place. And that's the reason why working with colleges has been so important, because the colleges have money to bring to the table because they need to get the apprenticeship numbers through. I think it's fair to say that the only investment that we're hearing about in terms of public money at the moment is for growth, apprenticeships and business solutions. I mean, pretty much every other department is still, you know, holding fast on not announcing new initiatives. And even today, there was the announcement of the Growth Innovation Fund outcome, which is helping us to develop into other sectors like cultural heritage and craft and design. So the money is there, but I think there's a big issue to explain to governments what employers actually need, as opposed to money going the same old ways. And that's why the Welsh example is, you know, is really helpful.
Yeah, it's a case of, you know, relatively small amounts of money being invested into a sector, as we said, with no history, and the dividends are here. There are people sat here now as well. And it also sets us up when we talk about where we're going to go. We have now groups of employers already working together with further education, planning to work with higher education as well. So people are starting to get to work. Academia here by here, employers by here, government by here. And that's what it should be. That's the goal that we're aiming for. And I think by doing something concrete like apprenticeships, we show that it can work. You know, you can bring these disparate groups together. Government can get it right, and they did get it right on this occasion. So, you know, I'm quite proud of it.